Once again, welcome to South Coast Radio, where music meets meaning. Today, we are joined by a rising South African singer songwriter whose music is rooted in faith, hope, and heartfelt storytelling with a sound that blends gentle melodies and powerful truth. She's connecting with listeners in a deeply personal way. Her brand new single called Your Love is out now, and it's a beautiful reminder of God's unwavering and constant love. So let us welcome Elizanne. Elizanne, it's so lovely to have you with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thanks. And you?
I'm good, thanks. Great to have you with us today. Awesome.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, so Elizanne, let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a bit about your journey into music and what inspired you to start writing your own songs?
So music has always been part of my life. I grew up in a household where both my parents were, they played instruments and sang, and my father was a minister, so I also grew up in church. He played the organ and all of that. And so I started taking musical lessons at a young age. And as my love for music grew, I figured out that I could actually start expressing myself through writing as well.
Wow.
And so I'd say from like primary school, I've started writing. It was very, very basic back then. You just wrote to your boyfriend. But later it began to just play a part in my relationship with God as well. So expressing what I'm going through, how I feel about Him, and just figuring out life. So it started at a very young age and just grew as I grew, and as I learned and walked the ways of life, it just grew with me. So yeah.
That's awesome stuff, Elizanne. So your music is deeply rooted in your faith. How does your personal relationship with God influence your songwriting?
My relationship with God is definitely at the center of everything that I write, and it doesn't only shape the message, but also I'd say the intention behind each song. And I don't want to make music that just sounds nice, but I want something that actually carries truth and that can reflect who He is, and just to create a space for people to encounter His presence and really realize who He is and what He has for them, and how He feels about them. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, you have such a soft yet expressive vocal style. How would you describe your sound to someone hearing you for the first time?
Wow, I would definitely say it'll fall under the more contemporary Christian music genre, but there's a lot of alternative and indie influences as well. So it kind of leans towards more of an alternative indie sound, but but still very much CCM, I would say.
Great stuff. Okay, so let's talk about your new single called Your Love. What inspired this song?
So your love actually started as I just wanted to write a congregational praise song, and then it kind of took on a different form, but it was mainly inspired by the scripture Nehemiah 9 verse 17, and it speaks about how God is very forgiving, gracious, and compassionate, and how He is slow to anger and He's abounding in love, and that even when people turn away from Him, He still never forsook them. So that was definitely where the heart of the song came from, and that part of how we will never be able to comprehend God's love for us, that really stood out from the beginning. It wasn't actually the chorus, but it was the bridge, and then it just turned into the chorus, and then the song Your Love was born. So yeah.
That's great stuff, Elizanne. And the track speaks about resting in God's love even in uncertain times. What does that message mean to you personally?
Sure, I think when life gives you different trials and stuff, well, we are still in the world, so sometimes we're faced with things that we really don't know how we're going to overcome. And I think knowing that God has so much grace and love for us, it definitely helps you to get through those difficult times. I mean, I lost my father about 3 or 4 years ago, and that was obviously something that was very different and new to navigate, and I can really just, God was so present in that moment and in that season in my life, and He still is,
Wow.
giving me so much peace. And I just knowing that He's there, and being able to know that He's my foundation. If it wasn't for that, then I would not have been able to navigate all the emotions and all the changes that came with it. So, I think the song definitely reminds me of that time specifically.
That's really touching as well, Elizanne. And once again, sympathies to you on the loss of your dad.
Thank
So,
you.
you're welcome. So, what was the process like when creating Your Love from writing to recording?
So usually I would just start with a bit of, I'd start with the lyrics usually, and then as you write, there's kind of a melody that starts to form, and then I started figuring out the chords and all of that, and
Yeah.
so it started with a bit of with the scripture, and then I just started writing some lyrics. I was on the piano and I just started forming the melody, and then I obviously sent it to the producer, and um, later on I like to keep an open mind when I write. I don't like to necessarily um, write with a specific genre or specific sound in mind. I like it when the songs kind of take on the form as you go. So
Yeah.
not boxing it into a specific genre. I think that's cool. So Your
100%.
Love was also done the same way. So the product that we have now was not the initial plan. It's actually way different than I thought it would be, but it came out beautifully, and I'm very glad. So that's kind of what the process looked like for me. And in studio, as you work, you just figure out what sounds better, or you work on your chords and all the different alternatives that there is. And it's cool to hear what happens with the song from where you start and where it ends. It's very cool.
That's really awesome stuff, Elizanne. Okay, so the song has a warm, organic feel. What were you
Mm.
hoping listeners would experience through that sound?
Mm. I like it when when the sound is, I would say, more natural, and when it can kind of feel like a conversation. And I think what would be cool if people can really experience that conversational feel, like talking to God, and really encountering Him personally. A
Yeah.
more intimate type of sound. That would be cool if people can actually feel that as well. So it is personal. The love He has for us is personal, and being able to get a feel of that would be cool. If people can listen to the song and really feel God's love and His omnipresence, I think that would definitely be my hope. Yes.
Awesome stuff, Elizanne. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
what do you hope people take away after listening to the song Your Love?
Hmm. I think if people can just realize that the things that they are carrying, and all the difficult stuff, that God is in the difficult as well. And because of the love that He has for us, His patience and His grace, the mercy that He has for us, we can really, I would just like people to feel invited to surrender to the love that He has for us, knowing that we won't always have it figured out or have all the answers, but
True.
we are in His hands, and He loves us, and He wants us to be okay, and He never leaves us alone. Sometimes the world can make us feel very isolated and alone, but
Yep.
the reality is that we are in this world, but not of this world, and we have a
100%.
Father that is so much bigger and that loves us so much. So I would love people to know that they are seen and loved, and that they will be reminded that God's love is steady, it's present, and it's enough. That's all they need. Yeah.
That's really awesome stuff, Elizanne. And so you're becoming an emerging voice in the Christian music space. How has this journey shaped you so far?
Wow, this journey has been interesting because I'm actually a full-time teacher, and music has always been a big passion of mine. So being able to really step into that, and I know that God obviously gave me gave me these opportunities to record and to write for a reason. So it's definitely shaped me. It's a bit of a challenge as well. So you learn to be vulnerable, and in that you grow a lot, and you get humbled. I almost want to say get humbled as well. But learning, growing, understanding, and sometimes you write a song, but it's not necessarily for other people to hear. It's because you had to hear it, and God speaks through that song to you as well. Yeah. And it helps you to really shape your understanding of who He is and what He has for your life. So I think this whole process of figuring out my sound and writing songs, it challenged me to, on a very deep level, to figure out who I am, what my identity is in Him, and to grow as the songs happen, as I write, that I can really try and implement what I'm writing. It doesn't help if I'm writing all these songs about God and what He expects of us and who He is, and it doesn't change something in me. So it's been a big part of me and my life personally, and just navigating everything.
That's really awesome stuff, Elizanne. And so, what can listeners look forward to from you next?
So for me, it's definitely I'm trying to make more time for my live performances. So performing these songs in different settings and writing more. So it would be lovely to record more songs, but I think going on a journey with live performance at the moment is definitely something that I look forward to. And people can just look at my social media if they want to maybe come and check out a show or join a gig, and then we can journey through the songs together. So that's definitely what's happening next.
That's really awesome stuff, Elizanne. Just one more question before we close off with the interview. Where can the listeners find your music, especially Your Love, and also to follow you online?
So they can go to Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, and also on TikTok. They will find me on the Elizanne Music, or just Elizanne. And my music is on Spotify, on Apple Music, and on YouTube. So they can just go and search, and then they will find Your Love there, as well as a few other songs that I also released the past 3 weeks, or this past 4 weeks. So yeah, they can check it out there.
Elizanne, that's really awesome, and thank you so much for joining us and sharing your heart behind the song that you just released called Your Love. It's a beautiful reminder of something we all need, that God's love never changes. So you're most welcome. So to the listeners as well, be sure to stream Your Love, available on all major platforms. And from us, from South Coast Radio, stay encouraged, stay inspired, and keep the music alive. Stay tuned.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.